I wish someone had told me this 30 years ago, before the pastor made me feel guilty for not forgiving fast enough, before family members said, you just need to move on, or told me that it takes two to tango, or didn't look and see the pain that I was walking in, but instead judged me, judged how I had changed, judged how I came across to them, but didn't take a deeper look or want to see or hear what I was asking for. Or before friends said, Jill, just let it go. And I wish someone would have sat down with me and told me the truth about forgiveness, not to guilt me into it, not to protect the person who hurt me, not to make everyone else comfortable, but to set me free. Because nobody told me that forgiveness was for me. Nobody told me that the weight I was carrying was not punishing them. It was destroying me. And I want to talk about that today because my story is not special or unique. But I pray it opens a door for you that changes everything. You have tried to forgive. I know you have. Maybe more than once, maybe more times than you can even count. And you've sat in church and you meant it when you said it. You've prayed it, written it, declared it, decided it, and then something happens inside. A memory surfaces, a familiar feeling returns. Someone says something that takes you right back. And forgiveness you thought you had found feels like it was never really there. And so you blame yourself. I must not have meant it. I must not have done it right. I must not be as healed as I thought I was. And you try again. And the same thing happens. And I want to tell you today why that keeps happening. And it's not what you think. Because here's the truth about forgiveness. Here is what I need you to hear before anything else. God commands forgiveness. Not if you feel like it, not if they deserve it, not if you feel safe, or if you're ready enough, or healed enough. He commands it. And I know how hard that is to hear when what was done to you was unforgivable by human standards. When you were molested, when you were violated in your own marriage, when your children were turned against you, when the person who was supposed to love you was the one who broke you. I know, because I have been there, and I spent 9 months forgiving my own mother every single day before she died. Not because she deserved it, but because God asked me to. And I spent years inside of a marriage that was destroying me, being told I would go to hell if I got a divorce. I understand the human weight of forgiveness in a way that only comes from having to live it. And I am telling you, not as someone who had it easy. God does not say, forgive but. He does not say, forgive if. He does not say, forgive when you are ready. He says, forgive as you have been forgiven. And none of us deserve that either. And here's why forgiveness is for you. And here's what I wish someone had told me 30 years ago. Forgiveness is not for them. It was never for them. It's the gift God gives you to set your own soul free. Because when you do not forgive, when that wound stays open and that anger stays active, it's not hurting them. They are living their lives untouched and moving on, while you are still at the scene of what happened every single day in your body, in your nervous system, in your sleep, in your health, in the way you cannot truly rest because something inside of you is still fighting a battle that already happened. Unforgiveness keeps you in the prison of what they did to you. And forgiveness, real forgiveness, the kind that comes from a decision rooted in obedience to God, is the key that opens that door. Not for them, for you. And I need to tell you something about my own life. I did not want to forgive my mother. What she did to me shaped the first 40 years of my life in ways I am still understanding. She did not deserve forgiveness, and neither did my ex-husband, neither did the people who violated me, neither did the ones who got away with it and never looked back, neither did the ones who supported my ex-husband and turned against me, neither did the ones who I cried out to several times in a 20-year marriage. None of them deserved it. but I did not forgive them for their sake. I forgave them because God asked me to. And because I finally understood that as long as I held on to it, as long as I refused, I was giving them something they did not even know they had. Power over my peace, power over my body, and power over my future. And I decided that they had taken enough from me already. And I was not going to give them one more day. And this is what forgiveness isn't. And I want you to be very clear about what forgiveness is not. Because I think this is where so many women get stuck. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. It does not mean you let them back into your life. It does not mean what they did was acceptable. It does not mean you trust them again. It does not mean you pretend it did not happen. It does not require their apology, their acknowledgement, or their remorse. Forgiveness happens between you and God. It's a decision of your will, not a feeling you wait for. Because if we wait to feel like forgiving, most of us will wait forever. And that is exactly what the enemy wants. And here's what forgiveness actually does. When you make that decision, when you choose forgiveness, not because they deserve it, but because God commands it and because you deserve to be free, your body begins to respond. The nervous system that has been living in that fight mode finally gets the signal that the war is over. Not because the wound is gone, but because you are no longer at war with it. The cortisol begins to settle. The hypervigilance begins to quiet. The body that has been bracing for a battle that has already happened begins to stand down. And safety, the internal safety that no circumstance could ever give you, begins to grow. Not as the prerequisite of forgiveness, as the beginning of true healing in your soul. It's the fruit of it. Forgiveness is not the door you walk through after you feel safe. Forgiveness is the door that leads you to safety. And that is the order. And it changes everything. God says if you do not forgive, you cannot be forgiven. And I personally did not want to risk being wrong about that. I do not want to hold on to pride or pain or the very real and righteous anger I have every right to feel for what was done to me, what was spoken over me. And I did not want to miss at all what God has for me on the other side of letting go. I have lived too much life as a victim of what was done to me, and I refuse to spend the rest of my life there. And I do not believe you do either, because you are watching this and something in you is ready not to excuse what they did, not to pretend it did not happen, but to stop letting it be the thing that defines what comes next. The truth is the only thing that sets us free, not our feelings, not our opinions, not our very understanding, our human understanding, and our very human resistance to forgiving the unforgivable. The truth, and the truth is this: there is no freedom without forgiveness. So when you make that decision, when you choose as an act of obedience and self-liberation, something begins to shift that nothing else could move. It's not overnight, not without grief, not without having to choose it again and again on the hard days, but genuinely. Your body begins to rest, your mind begins to quiet, your soul begins to feel something it may not have felt in a very long time. Peace, real peace, the kind that does not depend on what they do or do not do, the kind that belongs to you regardless. So if you're sitting there right now and forgiveness feels impossible for what was done to you, I want you to hear this, woman to woman. I know how hard it is. I know they do not deserve it. I know the pain is real, and I know the injustice is real, and the anger is righteous, and I am telling you anyway. You deserve to be free, and there is no freedom without it. My story is not special, but I pray it opens a door for you today, because on the other side of forgiveness is the version of you that nobody and nothing can take away. They can't take anything else from you. And you are worth fighting for. So if you're ready to stop carrying this alone, my program, the Inner Healing Journey Method, is a great place to begin. It's not a quick fix, not another thing that asks you to perform healing you have not yet received. Real work, and at the level where the wound actually lives. And if you're a man watching this a husband, a father, a pastor, a leader. Raising her worth was born and built for you because healing flows from the top down. And the women in your life need you to understand what they have been carrying. All of it is on my website, www.innerhealingcoaching.com. And the links are right here in the description. And before you go, would you subscribe and help me reach 1 million women over 50 who need to hear this? Because the statistics don't lie. 1 in 3 of us have gone through it. And if you know a woman who has been trying to forgive and cannot find her way there yet, would you please send this to her? Not to push her, but to let her know that someone who has lived it is telling her the truth. There is no freedom without forgiveness, and she deserves to be free. God bless your healing, and I will see you next Monday. Thank you for watching today.